It's the crown jewel of Slowpitch softball today on the CBS Sports Network. It's the USSSA Men's Major World Series. In the winner's bracket final, Resmondo 3-0 against Smash It 3-0, and a date in the championship game to the winner. As we welcome you to our broadcast here at Champion Stadium, so glad to have you with us. Alongside former Hall of Famer Don Cooper, I'm Bernie Gunther. This is what it's all about. The top two teams are here, and they're 2 wins away from playing for it all.
Yeah, this year the bracket stayed real chalky. We got 1 and 2. They've battled all year long. They're one win-loss record apart is 1 game, and it's we're looking forward to this.
And if you like offense, you are going to love what you see today. We'll start on the Smash It side. Our DeMarini difference maker, none other than Bryson Baker. What has he done in this tournament? 14 runs batted in, and he is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and if you see him down here on the field, we call him pound for pound for a reason. Not close to the biggest guy in the park, but he's got as much pop as anybody. He can play any position on the field. Outstanding player for many, many years.
And on the other side, what can't Greg Cannell do? He's the first Triple Crown winner in nationwide conference USSSA history. He had the most home runs in a season with 133.
Yeah, first Triple Crown winner in the 10-year history of the conference, Bernie, and I don't know if we'll ever see it again. There's been some great players come through here, but the performance Connie gave us this year was absolutely amazing.
What should be spectacular, it's going to be Smash It Sports taking on Resmondo. The winner will move on to the championship game here at the 2015 USSSA Men's Major World Series. We'll have it for you coming up next on the CBS Sports Network. The Men's Major World Series from Champion Stadium. Smash It Sports taking on Resmondo. The winner here in the winner's bracket final will advance to the championship game. Let's check out the starters today for Smash It Sports, presented by Boomba. It all starts at the top. Bryson Baker, Brian Wegman, Philby, and Homer. Those will be the ones to watch and help with a 1-2 count here in Nationwide Conference USSSA. And Bryson Baker takes the second pitch he sees, and he sails this one out of the yard for a home run this season. You know that oftentimes there's a home run limit, but that is the one thing that does change here at the Men's Major World Series. This and the Smoky Mountain Classic, they can hit just as many as they like. Yeah, this is traditional good old softball, and Brian Wegman's going to try to get one out of center field here. Back-to-back home runs. We've seen 2 with the first 2 hitters. And the green wall here. Played it perfectly. There are 5 infielders oftentimes here. And as we'll talk about that yellow wall we'll see back there in right field, we call that Helmer's wall because Brett Helmer, who's coming to the plate, was the guy that started by chipping him over that wall. And it's the 11th season, I believe, here at Champion Stadium, and we call that Helmer's wall because he was the first guy to go over it, and he's been over it many, many times. He's got 115 career home runs right here at Champion Stadium. He's 5 shy of tying the record for the most in history. Maybe 4 here. He got it. And Scott Kirby is the batter. And Kirby laces this one past a diving Jimmy Sala. At third base, and Kirby is aboard. You know, great infield, outfield player. He's kind of the younger Bryson Baker. It's from Altamont Springs, just about 30 minutes north of here. Lloyd with a single. Kirby will hold at third. Wow. Dale Brumgart mishit this one. Jeremy Yates will make the play. That's out number 2, but Kirby's going to come in to score the 4th run. And typically this weekend here, he came over and kind of solidified center field. They'd had a young getting closer, and you got to wonder if there's a little bit of a mental part of this too. Great stop there. Wow, how about that for Dennis Ruley? Bigly to end the threat. Sends us to the bottom of the 1st. The defending champions come to the plate. And Ruley is going to draw the walk. He's got such a great knack of finding a way to get on board. Yeah, you know, is probably, I believe, the oldest guy in their lineup, and still playing middle infield and hitting leadoff for him. Here's Greg Cannell. He had 133 home runs in the regular season, now with 140 on the season to go along with 363 runs batted in, and he's going to leave the yard here. It does so easily, a 2-run shot, and cuts the deficit in half. with one swing.
Well, we can see why he was the Triple Crown winner. And part of being a Triple Crown winner is having a guy like Dennis Rulli ahead of you in the order. We can see his swing here very relaxed. Looks like we got
gloves everywhere, don't we?
That's a great defensive play.
85 home runs this season.
That's going to hook foul.
This one turning, and it's off the pole. It's a fair ball for a home run.
He made that not only in the seedings, but Resmondo earning the #1 overall seed.
Jimmy Salas to the deepest part of the ballpark, and off his face.
Triple Crown winner, you get all kinds of publicity, and everybody thinks that's the guy. But I really think Bubba Mack is kind of the guy that stirs the drink over here, Resmondo. He's a great hitter. He's played multiple positions for him this year. They've had somebody banged up. He can be your middle infielder. He can be a shortstop and center fielder.
Just a little heavy.
You don't see him. He's not as big in stature as some of these other guys are. But I'm telling you, if you were going to start a franchise, I think you'd make a real good decision taking him.
Here's B.J. Folker, Bubba as they call him.
Billy Joe missed that one off the taper and found a home out there. He'll take that. It makes up one tournament of the year, at least from my standpoint, because all of us get to come back one more time in October later to Champion Stadium and play the mixed major with all the men's teams and women's teams blended together, and it's kind of the way to wrap up the season and have one real good time together
here at this tournament.
And that's what he's done. It's about as much as anybody that's ever come here. You talk about an eye that Dennis Rulli has. He resets himself as well as anybody. Understanding, one of your coaching staff and pitching coach here being a former winner of this tournament on the
times looking for their 10th title. And by the way, every year that they haven't won it, it has essentially been really this core group. It was a laser
back on the 08 team, Bernie. So you're right. It's been this core that's competed against them.
Andrew Collins hits this one a long way. It didn't look like it was really smoked off the bat, but he hits it to the opposite field for a grand slam.
And that's the mature.
And the second foul ball would be an out. He straightens it out here, no doubt about that one.
That's not going to be foul. Giannatis has hit one out of here this weekend. This park plays well to that, as we talked about, a little bit shorter to right field, but a lot of experience in that dugout mixed in with a couple of young kids.
Santana grounds it on the infield, and finally,
here we go. So they're hoping to get out of here with 10 or less if you're smash it right now.
Grounded up the middle and back.
Yeah.
And Greg Cannell does an easy swing and line drive, and this one's going to go all the way to the wall. Ryan Parfit trying to track it down, and Greg Cannell will cruise into second with a double.
Drew.
I've always thought there's something about keeping the numbers the same. What I mean by that is not going to 10 here when you walk back. I know one run doesn't seem that different, but when you see that double digit up there after the first inning. So I've always thought as a coach and a player, if we can find a way to get this out right here, 9-4 doesn't seem that bad. No, but all of a sudden you just look out there and it says 10, and it seems like sometimes mentally the world's coming to an end for a second.
Here's the MVP dating back to 2003. He won it again in 2009. The MVP in 2012 and the MVP in 2014. He had RBI number 200 in his men's major World Series career, his first at bat, and he will fly out to Bryson Baker to retire what was an explosive first inning for Resmondo.
One or two of the next guys before I get to Bryson, I got a chance to limit this inning to being a fairly low number. Andy thought that was a strike, as you can tell.
Fast and back, yes.
I think Andy thinks every pitch he throws is a strike, and that's why he's such a great competitor.
Rip for a base hit for Kevin Bazat. He's thinking about going two, and he will. Santana's throw a little late. Travis Clark. Not bad numbers for a pitcher. He dumps it to the opposite field, and he's going to bring home the first run here in the second inning and make it 9-5. Back-to-back doubles. Hit home runs. Bryson Baker, 8th all-time in men's major history, and runs scored. He's going to drive home another here. Some problems out there left field. I think Jeremy Yates lost his footing for a moment.
Time. Nobody.
He got a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these are definitely, as people would call, national all-star teams.
Yes, sir.
Long run for Santana at center.
Help.
He will face the loser of this game, still alive for a chance to make it to the championship game. There's very few.
Only a few of us that have this privilege, and it is a privilege, and we hopefully treat it like a privilege, you know, to do this full time. And it's not something great. Double from the big man, or it looks like a single from the big man. It's cut off over there by Andrew Collins.
Yeah, helmet. And Andy Purcell felt like that last one was a strike.
Where did track? See where Andy released it from.
Wow,
nice
play.
Time, 2 gentlemen.
Strike thrown on them, so it's definitely a little bit of a battle. And
Rumgard off the glove of DiDonatis, almost with back-to-back spectacular catches.
Hit it with him, and he will talk to you.
Base is loaded. Ryan Parfit loads up, and he leaves the yard. A grand slam home run.
Play.
Back to Purcell, over to first. He'll end the inning.
Try to show him to trust his pitches. He's got a good knuckleball. He needs to trust it. So that's one thing, and then focus on staying ahead of the batters. That's the biggest thing.
Different times. His son Vito is working his way through the ranks right now with a
back fair ball into the corner.
I guess maybe we didn't jinx him. He keeps his perfecto alive.
They played it perfectly. Man, a nice little reach by Scott Kirby for Travis Clark and Smash It Sports. They are 1 out away from blanking Resmondo here in the second, but Junior's got different thoughts. A home run. He dumps it to the opposite field. And Collins with some hustle. Thought about going 2, but Ryan Parfit, he got there quick and came up.
But
Jeremy Yates hits this one deep and gone.
And no matter how you don't, you're right back to the top of the order. And as we know,
Santana off Clark. Can they make the play? No. Santana slides in safely at first.
And he's brought it to a halt right there. Great job by an umpire right there, I think.
Dennis Ruley rips this one to the opposite field. And Resmondo doing it with 2 outs. They are one of the best. Big World Series. Already driven home 12 RBIs, but he missed this one here. Sky high pop-up. Ryan Parfit under it makes the play when the lights turn on once all the games on the backfields have finished. From the C and the Women's World Series that's going on as well.
Yeah, we've got 3 levels of women.
He's going to draw the walk, and Andy Purcell, you could see the reaction after he missed the things off balance.
Yeah,
Keep
I mean,
better off balance.
It's changed pace, and that's what you see here, and he did right there. He floated that one after coming back with 2 flat pitches on the outside that were fast, and he floated a knuckleball had by Andy Purcell right there.
Brian Wegman, ground ball to Jimmy Salas. He'll fire it across the diamond. Bubba Mack will apply the tap.
You know, there's some outstanding defensive plays here.
Philby, he's hit 3 home runs in the men's major this year, but not on that swing. They all came in the first at the men's major World Series since 2000. It always helps. You got Greg Cannell, Andy Purcell, even Jeff Wallace was a former Resmondo player, and Dennis Ruley. You got the top 4 there playing on Resmondo. That's a big
one of the guys that hasn't left the game. He's passing out what he knew, and we're seeing that with Brett Helmer and a lot of the older guys. That
a home run back in the first. He flew out in his second plate appearance. He hits this one well. Will the wind hold it up a little? It is caught. Brian Parfit right up against the wall. So far at the men's major. They're going to get him for the first time.
He's going to blame you for that, Ronnie.
And how about this? Not often you see it at the men's major, but it's a 1-2-3 inning. Travis Clark retires Resmondo in order, sending us to the 4th. We are tied 13-13, looking for a winner to move on to the championship.
The USSSA Men's Major World Series on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by Combat. Your advantage is in our DNA. By Worth. Legit power, legit performance. And by DeMarini. What can you do with one swing?
Well, after an explosive first 2 innings, the bat's a little quiet for Smash It and Resmondo in the 3rd inning. Just 1 run combined. We are tied at 13 here in the 4th of a 7-inning game. The winner of this one is going to advance to the Major World Series championship game, and they'll be just one win away from being crowned USSSA Men's Major World Series champions. This is what they play for all season long, too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very interesting. It's not very often that Resmondo lets you off the hook there. They kind of did in the bottom there. You got the one run, and give all the credit in the world to Laser Vision, Smashing Sports defense there to hold them with a 0, which again doesn't happen very often. But that was a big swing right now. Now you got your big man in the box, and see if they can run away here a little bit.
110 home runs in his career going into this one. Now 114. Won't get a home run there, as this one will fall just short of Jeremy Yates. He'll take it for a double for games.
Yeah, and this is a different foul, a little different format, and that's a strikeout there for time game. And now that we've moved to it, and so with this situation, you stacked a couple of extra games here.
And the great news about ending in prime time is Smasher looking to score here in the 4th inning. Brumgart, sky high. Yates trying to track it. Yates cannot make a play. 3-run home run.
Bernie, as the temperature falls a little bit, the lights come on. It's amazing how much better this ball flies, considering how far that one just went.
Back and gone.
That, I think he's a little spark plug. His personality is kind of bigger than life. Clean single into left for Lulu. Hustle Noah.
So up and down the lineup for Smashing Sports. They're getting it done. This one, though, is going to fly out to right, and Collins is going to make the play for the second out. And Rainey tags and advances. Waits on it. Popped up and caught by Nick Santana.
Thank you so much. We'll send it back up to you, Bernie.
Thank you, Kristen. BJ Falk leading things off. It's Falk, DeDonatis, and Andrew Collins. They almost got BJ Falk.
Yeah, there's that slotting again. That definitely helps in these conditions.
DeDonatis with a home run his last time up. See if he does it again. As they mentioned, the wind really helping. Another one will be caught by Bryson Baker. Falk will tag and move on to second.
Like I said, I think he's grown a lot during this season. Great player, great young talent. And you can see right there, he just spun that right up out of the yard.
Opposite field, no chance for Bryson Baker.
With emotion, basically saying, let's all get vested in this right now. And he's their leader. He got too much top hand there on that ball.
2 flyouts, 2 balls and 1 strike. And Santana is going to draw the walk. He's aboard.
A spot to be trailing.
Dennis Rulli, ground ball. And Rainier tosses it over to Steve Lloyd, and that'll say. But when it comes time to seed the men's majors, you see Jimmy Salas with a great catch on the hot corner. And it's been Resmondo. They've won the last 3 meetings by an average of 12.5 runs per game. So Smash It trying to end that streak. This is really the spot in the lineup that they try to capitalize. Wegman. It's hauled in by Jeremy Yates.
He's thinking dead red, get one myself here. Right into that shift.
And oh, it gets away from Bubba Mack, the throw.
He does, because if you swing at it, you know, it's a live ball.
And Helmer is going to draw the walk.
And that's not something Andy wanted. As you can see right there, was
called strike through there.
That's the flow. That's the nibble right there. That's a tough pitch for me to take if I'm hitting right there.
Strains it out. It falls in front of Yates. They'll hold, and they're loaded up. Can let them just walk in. Well, Tuesday, the best teams in major softball are here. These are the top athletes, and rare to see Andy Purcell miss there and give up a walk. This is a guy that year in and year out is in contention to be the MVP of this tournament. He first won it in 2003 with Resmondo. He won it again in 2009, again in 12, and last year's the co-MVP with BJ Falk, but gives up a walk there, and Smash It is going to score a run. Dale Brumgart hits this one to the deepest part of the park. It gets up, it gets out. It's a grand slam, and look at this. Smash it with a huge inning, and they did it all with 2 outs.
Yeah, we saw Brett Helmer in the break talk about we've got to mark every inning.
It's got almost half the offense.
Play.
Bounce to DiDonatis, and Parfit is retired to end the inning, but Resmondo, all sorts of offense, obviously, is the home team.
Yeah, and all 5 of them after a kind of a miscue there at first base. So a chance for them to get a blank and come right back in here and go. Now that
Line drive, and reaching up and grabbing it is Wegman.
that's,
Salas back up the middle. Greg Cannell had to wait.
you've talked about.
Because of that, they're on the corners.
Yeah, we've talked about for your, again, and on top of it, just how big a park you're playing in right here.
Bubba Mack. Gone.
Lefties, especially Jeremy Eisenhower, a prolific home run hitter that are sitting over there.
BJ Falk, he's mic'd up for us today, and he leaves the yard. Back to what DiDonatis does here. Right on the walk. Andrew Collins. Is there any doubt? Jeremy Yates.
He missed that, but that's the right part of the yard if you're going to miss it. And he made a day of it at the park.
Nick Santana smokes it on the infield, and that is easily taken. This one's going to need to be put into play. And Ruley draws a walk. And the second most, and Ray Cannell is actually first and third all-time in that category.
With home runs, you heard him down there when Andy made the first out. Here's our goal, get back to Andy. And
For Jimmy Salas. Purcell waits on it, hits it to Rainier. Across to second, Lloyd will tag the bag.
we've talked about, they worked all season long for an opportunity.
Knocked down by Purcell, he lost his glove, trying to recover. And Rainier, how do you like the hustle? He slides into first, and he's safe.
Important was that conference win to give Resmondo the home field advantage here and make them the home team. This game has that feel. It's going to come down to the last at bat.
Resmondo tried to chase it.
Absolutely. And there's a shot at it. Missed it straight up, though.
Plenty of room for Yates.
Haven't heard anything that indicates that he won't be back next year.
Bryson Baker into the corner. It's fair. They send it Rainier. Bazat will hold it third.
Key charm there for a while, wherever he went, and they won it.
Smoke back up the middle by Brian Wegman. They're on the corners. And that's why you see
behind first base, basically assuming he's trying to go right there.
Could be too Ruley to DiDonatis back to first. Oh, he beat it out.
The same way.
They got Mike Ortiz running over at first base in the place of Philby. So a little more speed on the base pass, if you will.
A lot more speed. Great young player, kind of getting groomed. Another guy that can play multiple positions. And here it is, right into the teeth of that shift again.
Over to Ruley to DiDonatis, ends the inning, but 3. And it's great for this game to have a player like Rainier back, because you're going to see a mistake there, but
place guys like Johnny Mello and so forth, and another young man, Orlando Costilla.
Bubba Mack, see you later.
Wow.
He liked it.
Yes, he did.
Wouldn't be the place that I would park my car, but there's a couple.
The trail foot is almost behind the plate. He's trying to sit on that line so well.
Strains this one out, and he sends Bryson Baker on the run, and he's got it. How about the hustle out there?
That's Mike Ortiz who slipped
Mike
up.
Ortiz, excuse me.
Fooled me too for a second, Bernie. I started thinking, is that Bryson Baker circa 10 years ago? Because that's
for Andrew Collins, 4 for 4, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, but Ortiz is going to end that stretch. Yates with 2 outs. He's got 3 home runs.
Not going to do it.
Not on that swing.
Well, it's going to go further than I thought.
Wow, it carried and it got out.
I'd like to take everything back I just thought, Mr. Yates.
3rd time in the contest. And he gets it. Past the diving Stephen Lloyd, and Santana long term, but he'll come back to the bag.
That's as you can see, these teams are so good. Beating them twice is hard. Oh,
great grab. Bazat goes the long way, and oh my goodness.
I'm not sure that if he
really took, it was at second, but I guess Santana runs far too quick. Bazat does the hard part.
Yeah, I think he just made the assumption that I have to go that way, knowing again who was on first base the whole way. Ruley, the wily veteran, hustling the whole way. And they may put this on Andy. That may have been the conversation afterwards. I think Billy used that as an opportunity. Billy Messina, and they just went ahead and put him on here.
2-1. This pitch is going to have to be in the zone. And Andy Purcell lifts this one, and Wakeman
great play.
Pulls it in, ending the inning. Who is still alive as well, but you're really in the driver's seat if you win this game because you are one win away from being men's major champion.
Absolutely. And
that's a good start for Smash It Sports.
Big lead off.
Kirby will go and take second with a double if you're Smash It Sports, because whatever number you put up, you need Resmondo to score one less off today. He's got 9 runs batted in, including a grand slam, but grounds it there to DiDonatis, who fires it across the diamond. And look at this, Resmondo is 1 out away from the championship. Called strike.
Ryan Parfit's going to get the nastiest knuckleball of his life thrown at him right now, I have a feeling. This isn't going to be anything but here it comes. He may even throw it backwards, he's showing you here. He's letting him know it's coming.
That is the ball game. Resmondo, they survive, and they'll move on to the championship after a 1-run victory. They win it 26-25.
Well, you saw at the end right there why Andy Purcell is Andy Purcell. He may not have got the hit, but he took it right back to the mound, and that's the case of the best pitcher in the game just won you a championship.